Rock and roll may live forever, but we only retire once. Kevin Lamour of Our Financial Plans and Quadris Investment Services offers a large range of financial solutions from some of the biggest leaders in the investment and insurance landscape of Canada. See how a solid financial plan built with friendly and professional advice can help. Find out more at ourfinancialplans.ca or give them a call at 705-949-1316. Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of the Lonesome Cowboy Podcast. I have a really cool guest for you today, folks. I got to see him a little bit at Folk Canada, playing his unique gourd banjos, and I'm going to ask him about what that little whistle thing was, and when he did the cuckoo bird, I'll ask him about that later on, so you guys can learn about it too. Would you please welcome to the program, Mr. Teilhard Frost? I hope I did that right.
Close. Teilhard.
There you go. Yeah, that's why I don't speak French, easy, because I'd make it worse than Quebecois.
The name looks like a German name, so it tricks everyone into saying it not the way it's usually
supposed to be said. Yeah, no kidding, eh? That's crazy. So tell me how you got into this trad instrument business and falling in love with it the way you have and immersing yourself. I mean, most kids wake up in high school and say, I'm going to be a rock star.
Yeah.
So how did it all come about?
My mom and dad, really. I mean, my dad sings a lot of songs. He plays the banjo and he's a horn player. And we used to get stuck walking. I come from Manitoulin Island originally, and
not far away.
Oh yeah, where are you?
Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh no way! Oh great, yeah. So I'm from Manitoulin, and we used to walk into town a lot, and so we'd sing songs to keep the tempo, to keep the pace. So I was this little shorty, and my dad would be walking and singing songs, and I still sing some of them in my show today. Slightly altered, but my mom, she gave me a fiddle when I was about 3, and my dad gave me a harmonica and a jaw harp, and my mom was really into the Appalachian fiddle tunes, and we had a couple of records. She was a big fan of the Berea. Strangely, I mean, I don't think she even to this day realizes the connection between Berea and Berea College and Kentucky, and they were one of the first fiddle contests. I think. I mean, I may be totally wrong, but one of the first to start like archiving the players and the tunes that they played, and so she was really, really taken with Berea, Kentucky. Like since the 1950s, she was going down and hanging out, and it just rubbed off on me. And I was signed up for ballet lessons. I danced ballet when I was a little kid until I was about 11 or 12. And I love to dance. And I have a younger brother who's a steel guitar player and pedal steel player and guitarist. But we used to dance around the living room listening to, Sharon, Lois, and Bram, who I've listened to them since then, which is good. And I remember I was dancing around listening to the Beatles or something, or Sharon, Lois, and Bram. I'm pretty sure it was probably the Beatles. It was before I even had a Sharon, Lois, and Bram record. And I swore I was going to be a musician, a drummer, and a chef. I wanted to do those things. So now I make music and I make food for my friends and have get-togethers here often enough where we have a big feast. And yeah, so I just decided when I was young, and I've been listening to a lot of ADHD podcasts lately to understand the propensities or whatever, the tendencies that or how this ADHD manifests. And why am I bringing that up now? Because
I'm one of you.
Yes, I don't remember why I was bringing it up, but it has to do with just going down rabbit holes and focusing on something until all of a sudden I just say, oh, I'm finished with that. I'm going to go and do something else, and it drives me crazy. But I had some other reason I brought it up. So anyway, maybe it'll come back to me. But that's what happens anyway. I just that is how it's related. Is that I will hear something and I will just obsess over the sound and do it until I have a semblance of the beginnings of, you know, a sound that people go, oh, that's a thing, that's the thing, or that's the sound of whatever the weird instrument is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great fun.
Grandmother, my grandparents on my mom's side were my grandmother's. I have my great grandfather's fiddle, and these are his glasses actually. My great.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and different. I got new lenses put in, but yeah, she used to. So he was Irish, like first generation Canadian Irish background, and she introduced me to. Like she'd lie in bed and sing to me at night when I'd be at their house, and she'd sing all these old Irish songs and some, you know, cheesy kind of music hall stuff that was fun, like there is a tavern in the town, and those kind of things. And I just loved it. She'd lie there and sing these songs to me, and then I ended up with her dad's fiddle, and she introduced me to early ragtime jazz and New Orleans jazz, and she loved all that stuff. And she was always up to date, you know, like she was the first person I ever met with email and a computer that was a modern computer. This is back in the early 90s. Yeah, so she was always happening. And my grandpa on that side, he was Scottish background, but he always say, well, I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. And he really couldn't whistle, he couldn't hum. I mean, it was hilarious. It was, so I was a bit worried that I may have inherited that, but I didn't.
Skip that gene. That's good. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, well, the ADHD thing, bringing it up, well, like I said, I'm one of them. So I struggle with the same kind of thing in that respect, too. You're involved in a heck of a lot of projects, sir. You got, Shisham, Lotus and Son, Frost Mercer. Are those all still going on? And how do you get it all in?
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. So it's now Shisham and Lotus and Son are taking quite a long hiatus. We were taking a break. We just decided to take a proper hiatus because we'd been on the road for about 20 years, and we needed to do, like, Lotus was putting out his first solo album, and I was putting out my first solo album in this type of music, and we were taking a break, and then COVID happened. So we thought, well, there we go. So that really put an end to most things. But this fellow named Andy McClellan, Lil Andy from Montreal, is a country singer. He's the drummer in his country band bought a wire recorder, and Shisham and Lotus and Son, we'd recorded 28 sides on a 78 RPM lathe. So we have a film of these great old sounding. It's not up on the internet anywhere. I need to put it up there. Somebody does anyway. But anyway, Andy got this machine, and he asked if Shisham, Lotus and Son would be his backup band. So basically then we did. COVID happened. Nothing. We couldn't tour. We couldn't do anything. And when COVID lifted, Andy said, well, I've written this whole book about the experience, and I have a box set of records and CDs and everything. We got to tour this. So we, as Hezekiah Proctor and the Hash House Serenaders, were myself and Lotus and Son. And so we toured with him for about 3 years as his band. And then because I have other things going on, and I like wearing old time clothing. Like it's the most comfortable thing, and I love the feel of it and the look, and I like coming into a character, but I wanted the character to be myself, and I didn't want it to be I'd had enough of, for the time being, I have had enough of going out and saying one of my names in that band was it was such a great name. One of them was Adolf.
Oh my.
Proctor or something. Like he was trying to get a rise out of people, and this is sort of like quasi religious show, like it's like a tent revival tent show that we did.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was great. They just had a really successful tour of Europe this past just now. They just come back. But anyway, I just didn't want to do that anymore as somebody else. I had to cut, like I have to cut my hair to look the part of the 1920s, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I just had fried. I'd fried and playing a part, and he kind of took my position as Shisham. He took the carnival barker, which both Sam and I shared, but I had to be quiet, and I really I love going, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds like fun.
So that show was a lot of fun, but I had to sort of be a little quieter than I'm used to, which was totally fine. It was a good exercise in restraint. But yeah, I just have so many other things going, like my own solo stuff I love doing. And the Frost Mercer, we do a lot of recording for when you go look on the archives or sound library, you'll find it on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And different places have music. So we make music for that and for some soundtracks for some movies and TV spots.
Nice.
But we have this other thing called the OS Project, which I love. We have one gig so far this summer, and because we weren't intending to do it as a touring thing. Oh, they shut the door. That's nice of them. But I was worried that I was going to lose. I'm way in the back of the house, and we have to. I live on the island now, so it's the internet here is pathetic. So the OS Project is a banjo meets saxophone funk thing. I don't know if you've seen it on my Bandcamp.
Not yet. No, I'll have to go look now, though.
It's really fun.
Saxophone, banjo.
So I had this idea where I was learning the akonting, which is a 3-string African banjo, and I'm just calling it a banjo for lack of. It's actually called an akonting, so it's not technically a banjo. It has 3 strings, one of which is a short string that you pluck on the top, the same as a regular. So this is what the modern banjo is based on, is this with a few other ideas about what the banjo, or like the different African instruments that came together to make the banjo what it is today.
Yeah.
And so I was practicing this akonting, and I thought, wow, what a cool thing. Like if this ding 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 ding. What if I added saxophones and tons of percussion and a funky drummer and a wicked electric bass? Where would it end up? So I made a rough recording. I took it down to Jason and said, hey, what do you think of this? And he said, oh my gosh, this is great. Why don't we do you have more of this? And I said, well, yeah, sure. We just finished making a soundtrack for a movie. The name of it I always forget. It's not called Sleep. It was put out by a group called Jammy in Toronto, and we did win an award for outstanding soundtrack for this thing. So we finished that project, and we had all of my percussion and huge gongs and everything in the studio. And I said, well, why don't we? And COVID was on, so we're on Wolf Island and very isolated, and so we could just hang out together, and we didn't have to wear masks or anything, and the bubble, and we were on an island. So, and it was a scorchingly hot summer. I don't know if you remember, but we would do some recording, a couple hours, and then we just walk down to the lake, dive in for a swim, and then come back and do a bunch more. And we put together this EP, which turns out is kind of like morphine meets I don't even know what, but it's like baritone, it's usually 2 or 3 baritone saxes playing at the same time with other saxes, organ, electric bass, traps, and electric guitar, and a ton of Latin percussion and some sort of West African stuff. And
sounds like morphine meets Ritalin.
yeah, basically. So it's really fun, and that we're trying to figure out how to do it, because it takes we did it just mostly the 2 of us, and then we added the guitar, drums, and keys, but to cover all the parts, it takes about 9 of me, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that, because there's never any money in it, like I can't say to all these hotshot musicians, hey, you want to do another free gig with me? Let's go. I just can't do that, even though I keep trying.
There you go. But, on top, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's that's one thing. But I'm just trying to think what else I have going on. Oh, and I play in a band called the Goat Steppers, which is fun.
That's something that I didn't read about.
Yeah, it is a ragtime, like a New Orleans style outdoor band, like a second line kind of band. And I play baritone sax. There's sousaphone, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, and alto and soprano sax. So it's super fun. We'd go in parades and stuff and get people boogieing. It's really fun.
Is it easier just to ask what don't you play?
I don't play piano very well, and
very well, but you still play it.
Well, no, not really. Clarinet. Surprisingly, clarinet. Even though I'm a sax player, clarinet. I find it very, very difficult, and really? I don't care to learn how to play it. Really, I thought at first because growing up with the Hezekiah Proctor, I thought because I had played soprano sax and fiddle as well in that, and I thought, well, instead of taking the soprano sax, which is it's long and that's the size, like they don't break down. Where a clarinet, you can take it and it fits in a little box, and you can throw that in your suitcase. And it's not like. But my soprano is it's a 1908 Con, and it's a beautiful old horn. And I just went, oh my God, it's on tour. I don't want it to get damaged. Like it's not worth it for this. But he insisted I play, so I thought, I'll play clarinet. So I gave it a shot, and man, no way. I had two of them in my house that I was just like squawking away, and this is terrible. My dad's a horn to do some, the 3-valve horn playing, and trombone and tuba are so much like didgeridoo. I play those some, but not often. Like I don't go out and play them in public. I did one gig on tuba a couple of years ago with Michael Duguay, which was fun, but I was just droning. I was just circularly breathing and going.
I just had a tuba on a first time on one of my songs on my latest album too. So
cool,
great fun. Now,
who play?
It was a local fella. He's a former vice principal at one of the high schools, and his name is Ron Dalson, and he's one of those guys that plays all the instruments, and he's just. And his whole family, all his boys are great musicians and the whole deal. So cool. He came in, he did one line, he goes, he did his part, and I went, and he goes, so you want me to do it again? I said, why? Did you do it wrong? He says, no. I says, well then, see you, buddy. Anyways, cool. Sir, you are more known for something else, not more known, but just as known is for your handmade instruments, your banjos that you make.
Dark secret you're going to pull out there.
No, we're not that kind of show. Yeah. No Jerry Springer, but your instruments, your banjos, and dare I say you even have a famous client?
I do. A couple actually, which is really nice. A real feather in my cap, I guess,
And that would be the infamous Rhiannon Giddens, right?
Yeah, she picked hers up for me. I don't know. We've known each other since 1998.
Wow.
They were coming through town. She was playing on one. We were working at Augusta Heritage Center, or maybe she was attending, actually. I was working at Augusta Heritage Center, and she was there. Maybe she was teaching vocals or something. But she was playing on one of my Gourd banjos I had down there for the whole week we were together. She just kept disappearing with this banjo. And then when they came up here on tour a year or so later, she said, okay, I'm coming by and I'm getting one of your banjos. And at the time, like, she was Rhiannon Giddens, like she was just a friend. And now she's Rhiannon Giddens.
Now she's playing on the Kennedy Center Honors and stuff like that.
It's crazy. So I haven't spoken with her in probably in a couple of months, but I do want to get her either get that banjo back and put fine tuners on it or just send her another one or something, because she'll have it in documentaries about the banjo, and she'll talk about it, and she uses it for recordings. In fact, I think it's on the that video game called Red Dead
Redemption. Red Dead Redemption. Yep.
Okay, so that banjo, the doogie doogie doo, that's the gourd banjo. And
wow,
I know, it was so funny. I was working in the barn one day, and a friend of mine, who was it now? Oh, it was actually my daughter's old boyfriend, this young kid, and he said, "Have you heard this?" And he said, "I think you might like it." And he played the soundtrack for it. And I said, "Whoa, that's really cool. It sounds like a gourd banjo." He said, "Oh yeah, it's from this video game." So then another friend who plays the game, he said, "Oh yeah, that's Rhiannon." I didn't know at the time when the youngster was telling me about it that it was Rhiannon. And then my friend Tony said, "Oh, it's Rhiannon Giddens, playing that and singing." And I was like, "Holy smokes, my banjo is the one that's being heard by millions of people," and it blows me away.
That's cool. I'll have to tell my kid. I have to tell my kid that. You know that game? Yeah. You know that part in there? Yeah. I said, I know the guy who made the banjo who's played on that.
That's pretty crazy.
I love it.
John McCutcheon has one, and Lotus White has one. Brian Sanderson. Who else? I've made about 75 of them or so. Like, not a ton.
Yeah.
But they're out there, and there's one in Japan and a couple in Europe. Yeah, it makes me really happy that, like, I'm not into it to make replica instruments from the time. Like, I designed headstock, and I designed my own tailpiece, and did, made it my own, so it wasn't like people wouldn't say, "Oh, well, that's not how it's supposed to be," because if you get close to it, like, they're just all the, there are people. It's important stuff, like, when people say, "Oh, well, this is a replica," it really has to be a replica. And if it's not, and you say that, then you're totally misleading people. And the banjo's history is so shrouded in mystery. It's really important to put forward what we actually know, and leave the stuff like, you can speculate on things for sure, but, like, as long as everybody's clear, like, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but this could have been like this, or it could have been like that. So, like, when I make the banjos, I base the shape of where the sound hole goes. It's funny because there's a fellow named Pete Ross in Baltimore who also, he puts sound holes. I used to do two I got the idea from Cora, thinking, well, that would be the perfect place for it. And so I made one like that. And then somebody said, "Oh, that's just like a Pete Ross banjo." I thought, "Oh my God." And so I looked, and this is before the internet, actually. So, it was before I had anything to do with the internet. I didn't have a computer or anything. So then I somehow found one of his, or saw a picture, and was like, "Oh no, I've kind of almost done exactly what he does by having the sound hole, so it faces up to your face when you play it." But anyways, so I based that on the Cora in the Ngoni, and the headstock I kind of loosely based on a fiddle and a rabab, like an Iranian. They have them in Iran and Iraq, and in Middle Eastern, kind of a crazy banjo, actually. This is very deep, wooden carved body with a short neck, and it has a beautiful headstock that comes swooping down like this. And I thought, oh, that'd be. So I came up with my own design for that, and I redesigned the tail. I designed my own tailpiece to keep the pressure off the gourd, because they're like wood will bend over time with the tension on. But the gourds are very, like, they're hard, but they are porous, and they will slowly fold under the weight of the strings.
Wow.
And I was down in West Virginia and talking with somebody about making gourd fiddles and gourd banjos, and they're saying, "Oh, don't get into it, because you can't play them out in public, and they're always going out of tune, and you can't tune them up to pitch, and blah blah blah." And, like, this is before gourd banjos and early era banjos were becoming sort of I wouldn't say popular, but, like, as popular as they are. Like, there was no Rhiannon Giddens out there. There's people like Clark Bueling was, and Joe Ayers, and all these early era banjo players, or players of early era banjos. who were learning the music and recording it from the 1850s. They were trying to come up with what it would have sounded like, and piecing together the tunes that were actually probably learned from enslaved Africans in the United States, and like trying to figure out, oh, this would be a tune that definitely sounds like it was a real tune from a real, descendant of an African descendants. So this person, they said, oh, don't get into making those gourd instruments because you can't tune them up to pitch and they're always blah blah blah. And I thought, okay, well, I have to come up with something. So I came up with a tailpiece to keep the pressure off the gourd, so then you can actually tune it up to A440 if you want. I mean, it's tuned to A440, but you can tune it up to standard G banjo, where normally you keep them a fifth lower. So like G would be down. It would actually be like D, 4 tones lower, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 tones lower.
Theory wasn't my strong point, but
and they sound better when they're tuned lower. But my point was this: that I wanted to make something, a banjo, because I couldn't afford to buy one as well at the time. And I thought, well, I'm going to make a banjo that I can play, and that I'm going to change this. I'm going to make it so you can actually tune it up and play with people who are playing a fiddle tune in the key of G, and you want to play it in G standard tuning on the banjo. I'm going to make this a gourd banjo that's just as capable as any modern steel string banjo, and I think I did. I think it's
nice,
and I think it also changes the tone. So like that's a nice thing that I hear from people. It's just that they have a really nice, clean tone, and they really pop out, and they're not flubby sounding. Like they don't sound googey like some gourd.
So tell me, what kind of gourd makes the perfect banjo gourd?
Well, usually from warmer climes is better. Like a dry, like I get them right now I was getting them from Arizona. And lately they're from, anyway, from the south, and it's hot and dry. Oklahoma might be. I think I was getting them from Oklahoma. Anyways,
I always thought gourds were tropical, but hey, who knows?
Well, we can grow them up here, but what happens is the warm weather, like once you get down there, it's bugging me now. It's Wirt's Gourd Farm, who I was getting them from. But what I'm using is either canteen gourds, which are quite flat.
Yeah, I saw those.
But I used to use the cannonball gourds that are like a perfect round squash, and then there's one that has a gooseneck head, and I used to use those a lot. But I prefer the canteen gourd now because you can. They sound fine, and they are much easier to hold, especially for women, and they fit in a case a lot easier, and you can travel with them more easily. And what you want is to have a gourd that comes from a hot climate where they have a long growing season and they can actually get quite thick and hard. And here we can grow them, and I've probably made about 30 from Canadian gourds, but they're always a bit thin, not too thin. Like I wouldn't use, but like that's the thing, is you have to go through 1,000 gourds to find 25 good ones,
Okay.
Oh, and actually, the gourd farm that I used to buy them from, Northern Dipper, moved an hour north of the Sioux. So I don't know if they're in business anymore, but they left from here. They were down in Paris, Ontario, and then near Paris anyway, and then moved up to near Barrie. Somebody bought the company, and they were growing gourds up there. And then the Sioux. I don't know if they're growing gourds in the Sioux.
I've got to find out where that is. An hour's north of here. So
yeah, Northern Dipper Gourd Farm.
Oh, I have to definitely have a look at that. Yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk about your latest album here right now. And I do love the title. That's the title of the song, 20 Blackbirds Dancing on a Deerskin. That's awesome. I love that. And I thought my album names were long. Well, there you go. So, and I know that's the title of one of the songs on the album, but tell us what Dancing on the Deerskin is all about and what we got on there, and tell me about that album.
Well, it's a collection of old-timey music that's mainly from the Appalachians, but I find that the song material anyway is often shared. I like to find that the songs that are, like the child ballads and the Cecil Sharp. Cecil Sharp collected the British ballads in North America, and I just gravitate towards them for some reason. I love singing ballads, and I love telling stories, and I love how I tell a story. And like now we have Netflix, and back then you had the guy with the memory to remember or make up songs and stories as you go. And so I tend to dig those up, and then often it turns out, oh well, this was actually from Yorkshire or somewhere, But then they get sit around, and they're kind of, people forget as the folk process happens, and the story changes, and you don't really know what's going on and who did what to whom.
Yeah.
And the fiddle tunes, I love all kinds of fiddle tunes, but I really love the super drony. Like West Virginia has a ton of very drony, strange, cool tunes. And Kentucky has a lot more notey tunes, but then I tend to gravitate towards the ones that are kind of in weird tunings that are like, I can't think of how to say it, but like crooked and a bit mysterious. And if you're a guitar player or a banjo player and you wanted to play chords behind it, it would be kind of ambiguous, and you couldn't really tell what chord you should be playing there. And that's what I love about, and like guys like that first tune, I think it might be the first tune on the album, Sugar in the Gourd, Landon Campbell. It's a Kentucky fiddle tune, and he plays the A part. See, I play the A part 3 different ways within the A part each time, because he played it differently. Like he would play the first time through the A part, he would play it one way, and then the second time he'd play it slightly different. Then the third time it would be kind of different, but like there wasn't a rhyme or reason to his, in the recording anyway, the Smithsonian recording. But anyway, I just love the weird tunes, and I love the tunes that keep you guessing. And 4 and 20 Blackbirds is dancing on it. It's actually called 4 and 20 Blackbirds Dancing on a Fawn Skin. And,
okay.
I used to play it on the fiddle quite a bit, but I just love how it sits on the banjo, and you get this major chord in the B part that it's like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a major 7 kind of sounding thing that makes it feel really like there's some kind of, it goes over through my body. Like I just, and it just makes me feel so happy.
That's cool.
And then other weird tunes, like the tune after that I coupled with that, Twin Sisters, is from Sidna Myers, and Sidna and Fulton Myers, and it's a fiddle tune that I hadn't actually really listened to ever. I'd only heard the banjo version of it until I was about to put out this album. Like it was all recorded and everything, and then I thought, well, I should just double check, so make sure my information's accurate. And I came across the fiddle tune, which sounds totally different from the banjo tune, and that kind of thing to me it always gets me. I just love it.
It's cool. Yeah, no kidding. So there's a lot of exploration of music when you're talking about where this tune came from and that one. Have you found anything from Canada that has its own unique flavor? Oh, yep. Somebody's got a little whistly there.
Yep. There are. I play a lot of Newfoundland tunes. I don't have them on records yet. But that's the thing, is that in Nova Scotia, especially in Newfoundland and New Brunswick, you'll find songs that are in all 3 places, like the Appalachians up here in Canada and in Britain.
Cool.
And especially Nova Scotia, though, like it could be just, and Nova Scotia, well, the East Coast generally, down on the East Coast, there are a lot of collecting went on there. Like Crichton and Edith Folk and people like that. They were recording, they were archiving and collecting all these songs, but there were so many songs in the East Coast for some reason. I guess because it's still so tied to Ireland and Scotland and England. And the seafaring, like all the seafaring songs and that, like I sing a bunch of seafaring songs that come, well, like the last one on that album is I call it Bold Henry, and I didn't realize Bob Dylan actually sings it as well in one of his albums until I finished it in the studio, and Jason said, "Hey, isn't this the same as a Bob Dylan song?" Like, are you kidding? Yeah,
I just found one of those in Irish music too. The Patriot Game, which is the original from Ireland. His song "God on Our Side."
Yeah.
Straight ripoff.
Oh yeah.
And then when he got more money, he bought the rights to it, so he could say whoever he wanted to wrote it and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because people used to just say, like when it was people collecting them, they would say like, "I got this from Lena Bourne Fish," or like whoever they got it from, Ivan Hicks, whoever they collected it from, but they would never say that this person composed it unless they were sure that the person composed it. But then people would, when they would make a record from the 1920s up until the 1990s, if you played a traditional tune, you'd just say by Teilhard Frost. Like they would just say that it was theirs, and so people kind of like, wow, I thought when that guy plays it too, and he wrote it, all and it makes things kind of confusing.
Pete Seeger was famous for that too. Yeah, same thing.
I guess so, but the Seegers were pretty good at making sure the sources were known.
True. Like, that's true. Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for Mike Seeger, we wouldn't have old time music the way we do now. I don't think.
True.
And bluegrass music, like he did so much to make sure he got the original people and brought them forward, and then they would say, "Well, I learned this from my grandmother," and then and she brought it from England or from Ireland or whatever, and like that. Bold Henry. So that one I learned from Frank Prophet, and he sung it as a waltz, and then I turned it into kind of a breakdown, and just a folk process, But that one's also one that you'd find on the East Coast.
There you go.
And the Ottawa Valley, there's a bunch of tunes like the Irish tunes that cross over tunes. The first one that always comes to mind is Green Fields of America, which is a famous, it's lots of people play it, and the Ottawa Valley has a very good version of it. But then that is the parent tune to tunes like Old Mother Flanagan and Shippingport and a bunch of others that they all have different names, but they're clearly that is the parent tune that had offspring. Somebody went up into the mountains for the winter.
Yeah, I get it.
This is how that tune goes, and they're like, no, it's not.
So specifically, let's talk about one tune that I saw you play at your Folk Canada showcase, and I listened to it on your album before I talked to you today. And how you do this without not passing out, I don't know. But it's a song that I like to play myself, The Cuckoo Bird. And what is that whistle, or I'll call it, and I know it's not a whistle, but what is that you're playing? Tell us the story, because I remember you told the story in Ottawa.
I have a small version here. This is just an eyedropper bottle thingy. But basically, I don't think I can do it with this. It's too high pitched. So with any bottle, you get a note. And the Bushmen of the Kalahari, the Sand people from Botswana and Namibia and sort of South Central Africa came up with this thing. It's referred to as a pygmy flute. And what they do is take a piece of reed, like a panpipe, you just take one, and then you make notes around it. and Mike Seeger would do this with the quills, and
that's awesome.
And my friend Dom Flemons, he plays the quills now. And what you do is you basically, the quills would be a set of four quills, hollow reeds, about the size of your fingers, about like this. And what you do would be you'd have your four notes, and then it would you sing the notes in between that you don't have.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about the kuku today, and I thought, it'd be good on jaw harp. I should play it on jaw harp, and it would be so badass and funky. And then I thought, I was just goofing around with this. David Holt, I'd run into David Holt in New Brunswick, actually, and we were goofing around with this hoot, hoot, hoot. And so I took to it and started doing it, and it it just stuck. And I thought, it's perfect for the kuku. Like, it's the perfect thing. So
yeah.
I have now in the works. I sung that. Oh yeah, I did a double kuku, which was ridiculous, but kuku after all. But at that showcase, I remember I did the kuku, and then I did the Gene Ritchie version of the kuku, playing it on the ngoni.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm doing a showcase, and I'm singing two different versions of the same song. Like, this is ridiculous. But what I wanted to do is to say, look, like, this is folk music, and this is how these. It's like, you wouldn't know they were related, but they are totally related.
You got it. Outstanding. Hey man, I've starting to get into this kind of stuff too. Like I said, I tried to make myself a pair of bones.
Oh, good.
And I think I failed miserably. They're too long, as you can see. They're 9 inches. I can't get these things to clack for my life on it. So maybe they're too long. Then I got spoons, and I modded those up. And I used hockey tape and built them up. So they, I watched the Spoon Lady on YouTube, and she's been really helpful. And then I never thought I'd be a trad guy, but then I wanted to try a banjo, 5-string, forget it. I just, that 5th string just makes me insane. And I found an Emperador tenor banjo. And then I looked up tuning for it, and I got it for $65. I adjusted the neck myself, the whole deal. And I started finding the tunings, and then I found this Slack tuning, Irish tuning.
Oh yeah, great.
GDAE.
Yeah.
Well, hey, now I'm attempting the Carey polka and the Kesh and.
The Kesh. That's such a good. That's one of the. It's amazing. Speaking of Canadian tunes like that, the Kesh is one that I swear, and you could be doing this totally on your own. Are you doing this on your own?
I am on my own. Yeah, it's it costs a little more, and I'm the typical starving musician, but I have a young lady in Ireland that is available for lessons anytime I'm ready. And Karen's really good. Yeah, she's in Cavan in Ireland. And so yeah, I've been trying. I even got a hold of Algoma Trad on
yeah, they're the best.
And they don't have anybody to teach. She said his son plays Irish tenor banjo, but he doesn't teach it. And I went, oh, okay, well.
Ironically, he just lives down the road from me now. He's moved from the Sioux, from up there in Deborah. Down here.
Kidding.
Yeah, he's just down the road. That's been a while. Yeah, but go to the camp. Especially go and do a podcast from the camp. If you haven't been to Algoma Trad Camp, it'll just flip your wig. It's the best. It's on St. Joseph Island in August, and man, it is so much fun and great learning experience for everybody with all kinds of traditional things. Like it's mainly Canadian, Irishy centric kind. Not really. Like, sorry, I don't want to describe it incorrectly, but they do things like blacksmithing and flint knapping. All fun.
Dennis is a friend of ours, the blacksmith guy. Yeah, I used to be an 1812 British soldier reenactor. How's that? So we had blacksmiths and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I learned to make some things. But yeah, spoons and bones. And
wondering about the Kesh is because the Kesh is one of the first tunes. It seems to me is one of the first tunes that a person coming into traditional music in Canada, when you asked about Canadian tunes, in Canada, for some reason, the Kesh is hugely popular. Like, it's just one of those tunes where everybody goes, "Oh, yeah, I want to learn the tin whistle, learn the cash. I want to play the fiddle, the cash," or Swallow's Tail. Those two are the two that people just right away. You go right to them.
That's what Karen told me. Same thing. She goes, "No, start with the cash." She goes, "Stick with the jigs. Don't learn reels yet," she says.
Yeah, jigs are great.
Yeah,
that's a fun time music that I make from the Appalachians that I find strange is that the old timers used to play jigs, but they just fell out of favor. And I think it's probably because of the clawhammer banjo style, like joom chaka joom, joom chaka joom. But the minstrel era tunes from the 1850s to the 70s, or 1840s to the 1870s, they contained a ton of jigs. Like they had almost as many jigs as they did reels and breakdowns, and polkas and hornpipes and all that. But it's funny because then people don't play jigs in old time Appalachian music anyway very often, and it's starting to make a bit of a comeback now, which is nice, 100 years later. But
outstanding.
It's such a funny thing. Like, here we are in North America, and with the roots to other places, and like the Native American influence on the music, indigenous influence on the dancing, and I love to buck dance and flatfoot clog.
Yeah, I saw that. And now I'm going to step away from my mic, and I'm going to grab my other thing that I made. If I can get it out. Yeah, I can. There is my mouth bowl. All I do is I go in my backyard and I go to my cedar trees and I find a nice green one, and then I take a guitar string and away you go.
Great. Give us a tune.
Oh, I don't want to embarrass myself because I don't have any tunes. That's just it.
You know, Turkey in the Straw.
Well, I've been trying to make it go. You see. What? See, my position's all wrong. There you go. Just a couple of licks. I don't want to embarrass myself. I just made it I made it about 3 weeks ago, so I just pick it up when I can.
So every time you learn a tune on the banjo, then learn it on because you have it, once you have it in your head, then you just, how does the catch go again?
Oh, yeah. Dee-da, dee-da. Oh, that's the Carrie polka. Sorry. I get them all mixed up.
When you get a chance, when we get off this thing, then go and play on the mouth bow. And then every time you learn a new tune, just say, okay, I'm going to go and play it on this when it's fresh in your head. And then they'll keep that's how you can learn a whole bunch of instruments at the same time, is by just going, okay,
never thought of that.
On this, I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to put it on that, put it over here. And then each one of those instruments will inform something about the other instrument that it'll, for me anyway, I find that if I can play it on the fiddle and then I try it on the banjo, I'm like, oh my god, this is so hard on the banjo. And then you come up with some different sort of thing, and it opens up a whole new fingering and stuff where you're like,
I love it. Well, hey, Teilhard Frost, got it right that time.
Yep.
Please tell the folks where they can find out about you and your music and any socials that you might have, because they're going to want to follow you.
Well, I remember too. Thank you for asking. My website's tfrostmusic.com, I think.
I'll let you know quick enough.
Okay. Oh, thanks. But I'm also
tfrostmusic.com. You got it.
Okay, good. Thank you. I do most of my updating and posting and that on Facebook and Instagram, which is just my name. Facebook, I have a music page, which gets less attention than my regular everyday one. But I also am co-artistic director and, directing with Jason Mercer and Tim Posgate. We have a banjo festival here called Mondo Banjo.
Oh boy.
Wolf Island's Festival of the Banjo. I know, it's crazy. Like, this is a thing where I was like, finally, I've left this other band and I'm going to just do my thing, and I have these projects on the go. And then Tim said, hey, you want to start a banjo festival? And I said, yeah, sure.
And the water gets a little higher.
sure does. And there's this, like, and so anyways, that is mondobanjofestival.ca. And yeah, it's a really fun little festival for we have about 120 capacity, and we run it here on the island at the hotel. And yeah, it's really cool. We've released some. So Lotus White's playing, Art Bowman, Stefan Hannigan, Saskia Tompkins, CA and Sonny will be here. The Tone Rangers with Chris Quinn.
Cool.
Kate Weeks is coming, and Birdie White is coming as well. We got 2 different whites on the.
Nice.
Yeah, it's getting cool. Workshops and dances and stuff. And,
I love it.
Yeah, and if anybody in this area, or we do run square dances too down here. I'm a big proponent in getting those continuing to continue. Yes, I love to have square dances because it gives us a habitat for the old time fiddle tunes, because you can't just sit and play them at people. They lose their minds. So if they're dancing, you can play the tunes.
My dad used to play spoons, and he used to call square dances.
Oh, cool! Wow.
Northern Ontario square dances, Chapleau or Oba or wherever they were living in those railroad towns. Yeah.
Oh, that's
good
great.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandmother's
excellent
basement, actually. So it's funny, I didn't even realize that until after I started doing the dances, playing for dances. My mom said, "Oh, like my grandmother started the Aurelia Square Dance Club." Oh, really? And she had all these books and stuff, so I got all the books. Oh,
love it. Yeah. Teilhard Frost, thank you so much for coming on the program, man. That's cool stuff. Well, I think we could go on and on for a little bit longer, but hey.
Thank you. When you your bones, if you take your middle finger and close your hand like this and mark where that is, then open your hand. Like if you actually put a little mark with a pen or something, and then measure from where that tip of your middle finger ends, so from here to here, that's the length that you want for your bones. So if you have that's how you tell what size. And if you feel that your bones are too long, just pull the one that's closest to your face, pull it out on the backside more, so it makes it short. Either way, you can have them sticking out way out the other end. Because like the minstrel era, they used to have bones that were like 10 inches long.
Gotta love it.
And they just...
There you go, folks. A bones lesson right off the top, too. Once again, thank you, sir. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Brian. Nice to talk with you.
Same here.